Our whip, Tom Emmer.
Thank you, Lisa. You know, Mr. Speaker, they always complain about such a small majority, but for us old hockey players, it's just fewer numbers to count. It works out much better.
What's up, Patriots? Welcome back to America First, the channel that puts our great nation before everything else. If you're tired of the mainstream media spinning everything against conservatives and you want straight talk about what's really happening in Washington, make sure to hit that like button right now and subscribe with notifications on. We're growing this community of true patriots every single day, and I need your help to keep spreading the truth.
On November 5th, Americans elected a Republican House, a Republican Senate, and a Republican President with a mandate for change. A mandate to undo the failed policies of the last 4 years and to deliver on President Donald J. Trump's America First agenda. Today, we're all proud to report that by passing our one big, beautiful bill and sending it to President Trump's desk to be signed into law, we are fulfilling that mandate. This is a once-in-a-generation piece of legislation that secures our border, unleashes American energy, allows families to keep more of their hard-earned taxpayer dollars in their pockets, cuts waste, fraud, and abuse in government programs like SNAP and Medicaid, modernizes our air traffic control system, strengthens our national defense, and so much more, all while implementing the largest cut in mandatory spending in our history. To put it simply, this bill is President Trump's Make America Great Again agenda being codified into law. From Minnesota to Texas and Maine to California, there are wins in this legislation for every single American. And I couldn't be more proud to be part of the Republican team that got this thing across the finish line. I want to say thank you to our Speaker, Mike Johnson. We should also thank our leader, Steve Scalise. And while she won't tell you what she's doing, we got to give a big thank you to our conference chair, Lisa McLean. I want to thank the chairman of all our committees that worked on the reconciliation instructions for doing all the hard work behind the scenes of putting this bill together. And most importantly, and people who know me know that it's about the team, I want to thank the members of our House Republican Conference for uniting as a team and getting this thing done. As we've said a million times before, do not underestimate the Republican majority in the House, the mighty majority in the House. This legislative process may not always look pretty, and there will always be many tough fights, but one thing is certain: we will always deliver on our promises to the American people.
Today, I'm reacting to some incredible footage from the House Republican leadership celebrating what might be the most significant conservative victory we've seen in decades. Representative Tom Emmer just laid out exactly what this Republican trifecta means for America. And folks, this is what winning looks like. Let me break down what we just witnessed. The Republicans didn't just win on November 5th. They won with a clear mandate from the American people. When you control the House, the Senate, and the presidency, that's not an accident. That's the voice of hardworking Americans saying enough is enough to the failed policies of the last 4 years. This reconciliation bill that Emmer is talking about represents everything we've been fighting for. Border security isn't just a talking point anymore. It's about to become law. For 4 years, we watched our southern border become a disaster zone with drugs, criminals, and illegal immigrants flooding into our communities. Finally, we have leadership that understands that a nation without borders isn't a nation at all. The energy provisions in this bill are absolutely crucial. America has more oil and natural gas than any country on earth, Yet we've been held hostage by environmental extremists who want us dependent on foreign energy. Unleashing American energy means good-paying jobs for American workers, lower gas prices for American families, and energy independence that makes us stronger on the world stage. When America produces its own energy, we don't have to bow down to hostile nations or unstable regimes. Let's talk about the tax relief components. Every single American family deserves to keep more of their hard-earned money. The government doesn't create wealth. American workers and entrepreneurs do. When we cut taxes, we're not taking money away from government programs. We're giving people back what was theirs in the first place. Lower taxes mean more money in your pocket to spend on your family, to invest in your business, to save for your future. The spending cuts Emmer mentioned are long overdue. Programs like SNAP and Medicaid have been plagued with fraud and abuse for years. We're not talking about hurting people who genuinely need help. We're talking about eliminating waste and making sure taxpayer dollars go to those who truly qualify. Every dollar wasted on fraud is a dollar stolen from hardworking Americans who pay their taxes and play by the rules. Modernizing our air traffic control system might sound boring, but it's exactly the kind of infrastructure investment that makes America competitive. We should have the most efficient, safest aviation system in the world, and that requires modern technology and smart investment. The defense provisions are absolutely critical. We live in a dangerous world with threats from China, Russia, Iran, and terrorist organizations. A strong military isn't about starting wars. It's about preventing them. When America is strong, the world is more peaceful. When we're weak, bad actors fill the vacuum. What really stands out to me is Emmer's emphasis on the largest cut in mandatory spending in our history. This is exactly what fiscal conservatives have been demanding for decades. We can't keep spending money we don't have and passing the debt on to our children and grandchildren. This bill represents a fundamental shift toward fiscal responsibility. The unity Emmer described in the Republican conference is something we haven't seen in years. When conservatives work together with a clear vision, we can accomplish incredible things. This isn't about political games or partisan fighting. This is about delivering real results for the American people. Speaker Mike Johnson and the entire Republican leadership team deserve credit for keeping this coalition together. Leading a narrow majority requires skill, patience, and the ability to find common ground among different conservative voices. The fact that they passed this comprehensive legislation shows that Republicans are ready to govern. This bill represents President Trump's Make America Great Again agenda being written into law. That's not just political rhetoric. That's the policy platform that millions of Americans voted for. Securing the border, unleashing energy, cutting taxes, reducing spending, strengthening defense, these aren't radical ideas. They're common-sense solutions that put America first. The mainstream media will try to spin this as extremism or partisan politics. But the truth is this legislation addresses the real problems facing ordinary Americans. High gas prices, unsafe borders, bloated government. Weak defense, these issues affect every American regardless of party affiliation. What we're seeing here is the difference between campaign promises and actual governing. Too many politicians make big promises during election season and then forget about them once they get to Washington. This Republican team is proving that they mean what they say, and they're willing to do the hard work of turning conservative principles into concrete policy. The reconciliation process might not be pretty, as Emmer acknowledged, but it's effective. When you have a clear mandate from the voters, you use every tool available to deliver on that mandate. That's not playing politics. That's doing exactly what the American people elected you to do. Looking ahead, this is just the beginning. With unified Republican control, we have the opportunity to implement comprehensive conservative reforms across every area of government. From education to healthcare to immigration to trade, we can finally put America first in every decision. This is what happens when patriots get involved in the political process. Elections have consequences, and the consequences of November 5th are going to benefit every American who believes in limited government, individual liberty, and America First policies. Patriots, this is our moment. We fought hard to get here, and now we need to stay engaged and make sure these reforms are implemented effectively. Keep contacting your representatives. Stay informed about what's happening in Washington, and continue supporting conservative candidates at every level of government. That's a wrap for today's reaction. If you found this analysis helpful, smash that like button and subscribe to America First for more honest conservative commentary. Share this video with your friends and family who need to understand what's really happening in our government. Together, we're going to keep America great and make sure the voice of patriots is heard loud and clear. Until next time, keep fighting for America First.